Okay, so it seems like we have everything set. I can see you, so to speak, and you can see me. So I first off wanted to say thank you so much for coming on the show and just kind of, chatting and talking story with me. I'm okay, so to back this up, hello guys, welcome to TreeBark. This is the show where I interview furries and furry artists alike in our community and just really dive into anything in that space and figure out more about some of my peers and people I want to get to know better. And no better guest than Tohfu I have here. So if you don't mind giving a little introduction about what you do, Tohfu, you have the floor.
Hey, I draw stuff and like what else do you mean? Like play games? I play games.
Well, that's
I watch
perfect
TV
actually.
shows.
No, I mean that's no, I mean yeah, if you want to go like way back in the past, like when I first joined the community, I saw your art without even knowing who drew most of this. And then I was thinking to myself like, wait, no, this art looks pretty similar or it has a style about itself because I would always see like one-off characters that you drew, but I didn't put it
Yeah.
together after about like maybe the first year of like, oh no, this is an artist who's been drawing all of these things over the year. So I finally like had a Twitter and then saw your account and then found all your art there. But I didn't know like one person could make so much illustrations over like month to month. It really blew my mind.
Yeah, I've had periods in my life where I just draw a lot and then I'll like not draw a lot and then like the last couple of years I just basically been doing like my main work is commissions. So
Mm-hmm.
that's all I do and that's why there's a lot of posts that I
No,
do.
no, that is something that's so amazing to me too because I mean, just to have a little background on myself too, like I have a day job. I'm trying to figure out in this balance right now, this weird kind of like, okay, I have to work for a thing I want to do that I don't really care for, but I do it for 9 to 5, and then I try to go home and then work on like the art, the stuff that really gets my blood pumping, and I want to make commissions and stuff. So, what was it like for you? If I want to start asking the questions now, what was it like for you, sort of figuring out your artistic career in the really early days of when you started drawing?
Um, I honestly didn't think of it much of as career. Like I had my normal job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I've had normal jobs, and I always kind of like whenever I needed to meet financial checks per se, I would always be like, oh wait, right? I can probably open a couple commissions, and then I'll do that and
Yeah.
get some extra money, right? And it wasn't until a couple years ago where I was kind of fed up with my job, but not like super, but enough.
Yeah.
And my boyfriend was like, "Why don't you just do only commissions? You'd probably make about as much or more, and you wouldn't have to deal with all of this stuff." And I'm like, Is this like a real possibility? Can I actually do this?" And he was super
Yeah.
supportive about it.
And
And
that's what it really takes, right? Like somebody around you to just give you that little push.
honestly, yeah, in both like um being able to say like, yeah, like I'll support us both while you get yourself all like revved up or whatever. That's an important thing. But it was mostly the like just stop it and do the thing that was the bigger push for me. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do the thing. And then I
Oh,
did, and then I
was
ended
it?
up being a little better off, I guess.
Well, yeah, can we unpack that a little bit? So, when you mean like stop everything and then just focus on this, do you mean like full on, like I'm gonna put my 2 weeks into work and guess what? I'm gonna become a full-time, like my own boss now and just pursue that kind of entrepreneurial living?
Yeah, literally
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yeah, literally, he was like, just quit your job and only take commissions. And I was like, okay, I can do that, sure. And then he was like, no, but actually do it. And then I
Hmm.
put in my 2 weeks. I left. I only lasted a week because we were all done.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I just started doing commissions since then and never looked back.
What was that feeling like though for you, if you can remember? I don't know how many years it's probably been for you, but can you remember that time sort of where it was like, for myself, if I have to put myself in that situation like right now, I would be like terrified. I would have to think about so many things like that. I would have to put in on an Excel sheet, figure out like what are my monthly payments. So many things that go into like insurance policies and stuff, figuring out if I'm gonna have health care and all this stuff. Like, is there a lot of that, do you think, that prevents a lot of people from pursuing doing what they love? Or
Oh, for
like,
sure.
is
I
the
100.
risk really necessary, I think?
Um, I don't know about necessary. I'm gonna say it probably is. I'm gonna say that probably thinking about all those things is what stops people from jumping right into it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do any of that. I just
Oh.
kind of I winged it and I jumped into it and I was like, okay, this is what we're doing, and then
Yeah.
that was pretty much it.
And then you just
Uh,
kind of flew by the seat of your pants.
yeah, pretty much. But on that same thing, I've always been kind of what's the word? Like uh I like to think I inherited like a couple good things from my parents,
Oh, okay.
right? Like my dad is the dreamer, right?
Yeah.
He was always creative and been like, "Hey, I bet if I do this, I can or if I could come up with, an idea and then just roll with it," right? It didn't
Yeah.
always pan out,
Yeah.
but he would be the one that would be like, "Let's do this. Let's do this." And then my
Like,
mom would be the one that would like hunker down and be like, "Okay, you can go and be your dreamer, but I'm going to like
kind of
be
bring
doing this
you
one thing,"
bring you a little
right?
bit back more to earth to try and figure it out logically.
Yeah, and it's like I like to think I don't know, it feels a little contradicting, but I have a little bit of both sides in me depending on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
So the moment when I was doing my actual job, like when I actually like work, I like hunker down, I do the things and I try to be the best I am at it or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Um but whenever I'm given freedom, I roll with it. Like I just so the moment that my boyfriend was like, "Yeah, go ahead and quit your job, take commissions." I'm like, "All right, let's jump in and we'll
Yeah.
just wing it every step of the way, right?" And yeah, I didn't really think about all the other
But I would think the
things.
main thing though is that you're consistent. So staying on top of the workload isn't really a problem for you. You can just keep on going because you I guess you would say you have just this kind of natural drive, right?
Yeah,
Oh, I see. And I mean, to sort of step back a little bit too, would you say that you were in the community as a furry artist doing furry artwork for other furries in the community? Or was it more of like you did artwork at like conventions and whatnot? Like, you know how we have anime conventions and all other sorts of ways that you could do fan art for things or for people? Was it furry focused for you from the very start?
as far as it goes for like commissions and stuff like that. Yes, it was always. I was in the fandom, and furries were like, "Hey, can you draw something for me?" And I was like, "Okay, sure. Let's work up a deal for it or whatever."
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've never been to like an anime or furry convention.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
I
you
want to. I really
Wow.
want to, but I never have.
I'm actually kind of
I
blown
think
away
the
by
only
that.
the only type of convention I've been to has been like PAX or whatever, and I've only been there once.
Is that for video
And that was
games?
like,
PAX?
yeah, that's video games.
Oh, wow.
It was in Washington State, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, it was really fun. It was the first time I went to a convention like that, and that was only like I don't know, like 4 years, 5 years ago. It's hard to year math now after COVID, right?
Oh gosh.
Um,
I mean, I guess that's another thing we can get into, but maybe a little bit
oh
later.
god.
Spoilers for later.
um,
But
but
yeah,
yeah,
so
like
first
aside
starting,
from that,
yeah.
I've never been on an actual in a con or whatever. I would really love to. I actually between my boyfriend, a couple friends, and I,
Mhm.
we're trying to make MFF this year.
Oh,
So that's the
really?
plan. It'll be my
Okay.
very first one. I'm pretty excited about it. Um, I haven't looked into how to like get the tickets or anything like
Oh.
that, but we're gonna do it because we wing
Well,
everything.
I will say though, yeah, I went to my first MFF just this past year, and I think they handled everything really wonderfully after, considering all of the pandemic and whatnot.
Yeah.
I full disclosure, I'm based in Hawaii for already those who don't know. But yeah, our state's a little bit rolling back on the whole like no masks anymore. Our numbers are soaring through the roof, so we're putting masks back on at work and everything. So I hope that I could leave the island by the time everything gets more shut down again. But no, for sure.
You
Like
said
Emmett,
Hawaii?
huh? What's up?
You said Hawaii?
Yeah, Hawaii. I'm based on Oahu, one of the smallest
Oh,
islands here. So I'm all the way out in the Pacific, and yeah, it can get kind of tough too about just trying to coordinate and communicate with people out in the fandom.
I
Um,
bet.
I think that's sort of fuel to my fire, where it's like, okay, I can't just drive anywhere to a convention, but I'm gonna do my best using like my tech ability to try and communicate with people, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what I try to focus on the most. But yeah, getting back to like how you started off, like what was it that I guess like you said you got some creative and logical sides from your parents, and then you really are online based, I guess you would say, in a similar way to even myself. Even though you're in the mainland, but you haven't really dipped your toe yet into conventions or anything so far.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't been much for the social side of the fandom stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I've met a couple friends, right?
Yeah.
And then I guess I just sort of kind like clicked it up, and I just have like the circle of friends that I talk to and play games with, and then like everybody else is just people slash furries, and then followers kind of a thing, and
Ooh.
that's pretty much the three categories of like people as I see them
Yeah, so I
online at
mean,
least.
for people that's in like your close personal social circles, and then like client people, right?
I don't necessarily see them as clients, though technically they are. And now that you put that thought in my head, I am. But before, I meant it just like as followers, people that like my art and or
Oh,
know
okay.
me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, people at least who like your work and then just yeah want to follow you on Twitter or FA or anything, right?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
how did you feel or start off when you first joined like Twitter or anything? Was that more of like a big wave for you when you joined, when you got to like expose your art to more people then?
Um, I can't say I thought of anything to the point where like I can bring something to mind like immediately right now.
Mm-hmm.
All I remember is that I was first housed on FA, and by first I mean like recent first, because like if we're gonna go super back, it's gonna be DeviantArt, but I'm not
Oh
gonna go
yeah,
that
same. I remember those days in high school
far.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So as a general scope, I was mostly on FA.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was mostly on Tumblr. Then that went down, and
Oh
then
yeah, that whole
after
debacle.
Tumblr,
Yeah.
yeah, after Tumblr, I was looking for an alternative because I didn't want to go back to just FA.
Yeah.
Because as nice as it was, back then, it's like pretty dated, and
Yeah,
they could use a couple of it. Not hating on the website, if anybody
it could use a little bit
that
more love, yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
and
like
modernizing.
yeah, like we are, at least everybody knows of it, so that speaks testaments to like how well it worked for
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah, for
So it's
sure.
not like I'm not sitting here hating on it. But yeah, when I like started on Twitter, I was like, okay, this is weird, and some of these things stand still, but to the point where like I'm like, okay, I don't really have like an image gallery I can like
Mhm.
flip through like nicely for people, so I kind of always disliked that. But as everybody started using Twitter, I guess I just kind of started not caring about it, and
'Cause
it's like,
it's
okay, I'll just flip through the media tab and
yeah, they're
you know
just timelines, and then you have to go through every individual tweet, whether or not it's a picture from your gallery or just a one-off random shower thought type of thing.
yeah,
Like,
and
yeah.
there's no like categories to be able to sort it through that I know of.
Um,
So like what?
no, but well, I was just gonna say real quick though, you can make lists. That's something that you have to moderate on your own though for Twitter. Did you know that?
Is what do you mean?
So if you want to like say if you want to organize like who your favorite artists are or what artists you want to commission as an example or fursuiters that you like, you can make different lists on your sidebar for Twitter and then you can add them individually as an account to those lists.
But that's more like bookmarking, is what you're
Yeah,
saying,
that
right?
is fair. You are grouping and bookmarking people, but it's like Twitter's best way of organizing something sadly.
Okay, because I meant more specifically like me posting. Like I wish that I could like Twitter post categories as commissions only,
Oh,
and then like
yeah.
my own random doodles,
Just like
uh,
how FA you
food
can post
pictures.
in folders or something like that.
Exactly, that's what I meant. Like for self organization rather than like organizing everything else I'm seeing from everybody else.
Yeah, and it makes it way easier to navigate though too. I use a separate app called Harpy just to plug that real quick, and it lets you just view like are you familiar with Instagram? Uh you can just
I know
view.
of it.
Yeah, same. I don't even have an account. But I know that you can just mainly view photos. So if you click to like the media section of a person's gallery, you only see like the photos and
See,
you only see like a
yeah.
big gallery top down, and it makes it way easier to navigate. So I recommend Harpy as it's a free alternate like Twitter app. It
Okay,
works really
but I
well.
mean, it's still Twitter, but on a different app. Is
It's
what
like
you're
a
saying?
third party application that makes it just easier to navigate
Like
for artists.
tweet deck kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess you can think of it like sort of a filter or a layer, so it works like that.
Oh, okay,
Um,
cool. I'll give that a check because
yeah.
that'd be cool.
Would you say that you work mostly like for the community by the community though, or do people like from like the anime side of things like want to hire you, or who do you really feel like is your audience, and how did you like sort of garner that?
Uh, uh, I think it's mostly just like fairy community, and as how I managed it, just that's basically all I draw. So I guess that's why.
Did you actually know what the community was though prior to like sort of drawing for like, ooh, look at these anthropomorphic creatures. Like I don't know what this is, but this is cool and I like it.
uh, yes, I'm trying to think how it kind of because I found the fandom,
Hmm.
I liked stuff, I tried drawing it myself, and then yeah, because I didn't like take commissions till like years later
Did you have
after like
prior experience though as a side tangent, like in high school or anything? Did you take art lessons or did you have like other professional experience, like like teaching or mentoring? Like how did you build up your art knowledge and your library in your head?
oh, I just kept drawing, honestly. I've had like art classes in like high school, but
Mm-hmm.
that mostly like ended in me clay sculpting a Mega Man, figure that then blew up in the kiln or whatever it's called.
Oh no.
So nothing necessarily like
It was just kind
drawing
of
wise.
general then.
Yeah, like I would like instead of sleeping in class, I would draw in class.
Oh, I
Like
think
the
that's a
whole
better
time.
use of your time though. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Ask someone who's really tired.
No, that's fair. Yeah. But
But yeah, it's all just literally been me drawing around. I've never actually had any sort of training or whatever. Not that I wouldn't like to. I
mhm.
just don't want to pay for it.
No, yeah, that's the thing though too, and I just want to put for people out there, and even for like younger artists, I want to say to them like, if you think that you need a degree or something in a specific art, and you have to pay thousands of dollars or get scholarships, I do recommend scholarships, but you don't need that sort of formal education to be good at what you want to draw. I feel like art as a whole is something that you can. It's a discipline, and it is like this very personal craft that you could build upon yourself. And if you have like that energy and drive to sort of tackle it every day, you'll get better in just a matter of years. And it took, I would say, like me personally, only like 2 or 3 years until I started getting enough skill to really put that out there, and people wanting to hire me for illustrations and stuff. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, would you say like you kind of had a similar path? Because I didn't have any real formal education. Like I never went to like a Cal Arts or anything.
Yeah, yeah. Um okay, before anything,
What's up?
do you have like a piercing on your finger or something like that?
Oh, did you notice this?
Yeah, what is that?
So if you look at my like second little claw right here, somebody literally even pointed that out just today in one of my comments on my videos. And they said, "Oh, I noticed like one of your beans has a little glitch in it, so it's not a piercing, but it's just part of my character model to sort of get meta here. But my at my VR maker, I think just one of the rigging on the talons got a little bit funky. So
Oh,
don't let that
okay.
distract you. I'm embarrassed.
It's too late. I completely forgot what we were talking about.
No, yeah, I was just sort of going over like the general way that you go about like learning art. I feel like for people out there, they have to, spend thousands of dollars on like educating themselves, but really all that it took was for me personally just looking at the art that I loved and then figuring out how they drew it like that. And then I just would like I would accumulate on my bookshelf, like I have dozens of art books.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
like what
I've
would
never. Yeah, I love the idea, and maybe someday I'll have like a little bookshelf with a bunch of art stuff or whatever. But
Mhm.
I'm too lazy to actually go out and gather it.
How do
But
you
yeah,
how do you accrue that knowledge though? I find it so crazy, like, cause like the literally the amount of work that I see you pump out and like the figures that you draw, I was like, this person must be doing figure drawing and studying the body like mad. Like, how do you go
I've
about it?
never done any of that.
Really?
Like
Oh my God,
I just wing everything, man.
but it looks so good.
Like that's not to say I don't use references every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes with commissions, people will be like, "Oh, hey, can you use something like this?" And then they'll give me like an image from like
A pose or something.
a post or something like that. Or sometimes like they'll take a photo, So like I use references, right? It's completely like fine.
I don't
People,
know. Is that
people, please
taboo
use
though?
references when you need it,
Is that
right?
taboo, Tofu? A lot
No,
if you
I
if
don't
you
know.
can't
I
draw
see
it
so
from your
many
imagination.
I see so many Twitter posts about everybody trying to justify themselves for using
I know.
um references, and it's like, yeah, that's kind of obvious. It's fine, guys. Don't worry about it. But
Yeah.
it's what it is. I don't know. I doodled a lot, and when I was first starting out, I was just like drawing random things, and then at one point, it wasn't even like my idea or like it's not what I was going for, but like people were like, "Oh, hey, if I give you money, would you draw my character in your
Yeah.
style?" And I was like, "I'm not even good enough." Like, but sure, I guess I can try. And then that's kind of how it started. And then like
Just
word
kind
of
of
mouth, people just got like their friends to get back to me here and there. And
yeah.
then eventually, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna like schedule it. I'm gonna say like only 5 people, and then I'm gonna come back like in a couple months for more kind of a thing.
And then
And that
you sort of like build this timeline of like, okay, maybe it takes me about like one day to do this one character for like maybe this certain quality of sketch or flat illustration, etc., or even lineless work. And then you just kind of know about like yourself personally how long you take for each kind of project.
yeah, honestly, it's not so much about how long an individual piece of a commission takes me.
Hmm.
It's about like all the things that I got going on, like because taking care of the house and crap like that,
Mm-hmm.
running errands.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Like
a
life
lot of it
stuff.
is
Yeah.
just bringing myself to doing the commission. Because as a general rule, I personally don't like to take more than an hour in a commission
Whoa, that's super fast. Okay.
because I start losing focus and interest. And then I feel
Oh.
like whenever I do, like drawings just end up not looking as great.
Yeah, because you can sort
So
of. No, I know exactly what you mean because you can sort of lose that sort of spark or fire that you already had for that one piece, right?
yeah, like for me, like the best commissions that I've enjoyed doing and that I think look better are the ones that take me like 30 minutes because I was like I drew a couple lines and I'm like, oh, this is perfect for this pose. And then I just scribble it all out, and then I'm done
Yeah.
like 30 minutes, and then it's like I was super into it, right? So like, but like I tell people I work between 3 to 4 months, 3 to 4 weeks, uh, to get a commission done, but that's
Mm-hmm.
because I have a bit of a backlog, and then I have to like,
Oh, so your
uh,
quo is actually like the amount of time that it takes to get to that person that just got the commission from you.
exactly. It's not so much that it literally takes me 3 to 4 weeks to do a line art or something.
Yeah.
It's just literally getting there because once it hits the 3 to 4 weeks or whatever, I normally like I'll sit down, I'll be like, okay, this is the commission for today, and then I'll finish it in an hour, and then I'm like, phew, done, and then here you go, your commission's done.
Yeah, and then you can, as soon as you finish it, do you just send it their way and then just like check that
Yeah,
off
pretty
your
much,
quota, and then you just
pretty much.
keep doing that?
Hmm.
Oh,
And
okay.
nope, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
No, that's okay, because I want to build off that too, and I want to say like, whenever I do commissions, I sort of plan out in my head where, I'm like, okay, I just feel like doing a painting slot, or I want to do a flat character sketch, or just even like a regular black and white sketch commission. Do you have like these kind of in and out feelings of the type of art that you want to do, or do
Oh
you always
yeah.
like hammer out like bam, bam, bam? I'm doing this professionally. I'm only doing like one type of thing, and yeah, just adding to your backlog.
So right now, I'm trying to like sort your question out of my head. So to begin with, yes, I have definitely moods where I'm like, I feel like drawing this. Don't feel like drawing this.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if you like, I don't know how like closely you look at my commission price sheets or whatever, but like from a few weeks back, maybe a couple months back to be more precise,
Mm-hmm.
or less precise, I guess technically. But either way, so I'll find it a while back.
Yeah, a while
If you
back.
look at my commission sheets, you'll see that I have like 5 different options for commissions, like black and white. I have like the golden accessories ones, ref sheets, and
Yeah, I
stuff like
saw
that.
those. Yeah, those are really pretty.
Yeah, and then I like doing the golden accessories one, but then I get tired of it. So like if you see my current commission stats right now, I'm only doing like the colored
Yes,
doodles.
I have noticed that recently from you.
Yeah. And it's literally because I don't feel like doing anything else. It's like I just have fun doing this. So
Yeah, it's
uh,
so hard to also kind of like motivate yourself to do something that like you just don't have that sort of vision for at the time too.
yeah. And maybe in a couple weeks, maybe in a couple months, I'll be like, okay, I feel like doing the accessories one. I'm gonna throw it into the price sheet, right? But I'm very willy nilly when it comes to that.
Would you consider? I was just kind of thinking about this too for myself personally for my own art business. But do you ever see like sketchbooks or compilations of other past commissions that you could put into like a little collage or a little sketchbooks that you would sell? Actually, what is your
That'd be
sort of take
cool.
on
But
that?
I don't know if I feel like it takes a certain quality of work that I don't know if I'm like there to like offer books of my stuff.
Mm.
Um
I mean, I'm sure like I'm a fan of your style and I would definitely pick it up, but that's just me personally.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
think
Yeah,
it's
you
more of
deserve it.
a it's more of a and it's funny because I'm fully aware of it, but I do end up having these small bouts of whatchamacallit. Uh
Burnout or
no, like I don't like I want to say self-depreciation, but it's not
mm.
as heavy or dark as that.
I feel like a lot
I'm
of
like,
creatives can kind of like get at that at what you mean. I mean, are you sort of like thinking about the imposter syndrome, or have you heard of that before?
uh, I want to say I've heard of it, but I don't really know what it
Well,
means.
my concept of it is that like when you're putting out work or when you're trying to pursue something that you like, sometimes like when you are doing really well at something and you get a lot of success out of it, what can happen is that like you don't feel like you've earned it in a way. Like, do you ever kind of feel that little bit of like, I guess what you call, it's not really a lack of confidence, but it's somehow like you feel more humble and undeserving of it.
I understand what you mean, but I don't think I get to it to that point. It's
Mm-hmm.
more of a like, eh, and it's funny because like like sometimes people say like if you're fully aware of it, then it's not 100% like true, I guess. But like I do feel that I sometimes look at my stuff and I'm like, I'm not as good as like I don't think I'm as good as other people like think that I am. But then at the same time, I'm
Yeah,
like, I don't want to belittle their appreciation. So like
exactly. Yeah.
at the same time, I always try to like actively recognize like no, people like it. Like I can't just spend hours a day thinking,
Yeah,
bad
it's not
about
really a good
my
productive
art.
use of your time or your creative energy, yeah?
Yeah, like for both my sake, because it's not healthy for me to think about it that way, but also because I feel like it's kind of an insult to like my fans if I
Mhm.
hate on my art. Like I wouldn't feel comfortable going out and being like, oh, I hate it, absolutely everything that
Yeah, I
I
mean,
do, you know.
you can be humble to a point, but I think genuinely when you love what you're doing anyway, that I think people feel that from you too. And it's like,
Yeah,
wow, I'm so proud to have this piece and like he signed it and everything and like that's what I want to have in my collection.
yeah, and I feel like a lot of it. I think that's something I still have where I'm like I love doing what I'm doing, you
Yeah.
know, and I love drawing and I'll generally be excited sometimes when people are like, "Oh yeah, draw my character," and I'm like, "Oh, I really like your characters, or they're super cute," and you know, I have that actual
Have
excited
have you
excitedness.
have you ever had some of those days though too with a client where I'll admit I've had a fair share of my times where like you got to be flexible with the client, like if they want something specific I'll be like okay, I'll do maybe one or two iterations, but sometimes they're so persistent and they're like no, you got to get my character just in this right position and the finger got to be like bent just like this. Like has that ever happened to you?
Uh, yes, not as often as you think, but that's because I always go out of my way. Like it's even somewhere in my TOS, which is like hidden away because I had to like change a couple settings on my trailer or whatever. But I'll
Mhm.
put it up eventually someday. But it's always been my public thing where I tell people like if you need something to be exact, whether it's markings like tattoos,
Yeah.
you know, like stripes or whatever. If you need something to be like completely exact, where you're not going to be happy if it's not just the way that it's supposed to be, I'm not the artist for you.
Yeah,
Like,
no, sometimes like
yeah,
I didn't learn that to put that in any kind of terms of service. I didn't even know what terms of service was. So then that's like a really useful thing too for people to know where it's like read artists' terms of service because they will tell you that they don't even want to work with you if you're like going over their rules.
yeah, and it's like if you're that kind of person where you're like extremely picky, that's fine. Like you know, you all the power to you. Like
Yeah.
I'm not trying to trash on those people or nothing. But I'll just tell you, like, I'm not gonna be able to work to that level of detail. So, like, I
Mhm.
don't want to waste your time and money on or my time, you know, like
Yeah, that's important too.
like that's another reason why I always label my art as doodles or sketches because
Hmm.
I always it gives people the expectation that it's not going to be the cleanest, you know, most perfect thing, you know, that I have a lot of wiggle room to be like, you know, for things to not be exact. That doesn't mean like if
Okay.
if your left paw is green and your other one is blue,
Or
and
if
then I do
your
like pink and
or if
green,
your nail is
that's
glitching
an
out.
actual yeah yeah like, like like if I have an actual mistake, like I'll actually like I'll fix it. Like I
Yeah,
messed up.
I'll
That's
definitely
different.
own
I'm
up to it.
talking
Yeah. I don't have any
yeah
problem doing that either. Because
yeah
it's like, oh, you colored my ear wrong or something. Where it's like, oh no, that's just a quick and easy fix. Like it's to the level of where it's like you don't feel like you're making meaningful changes. I feel.
yeah. And at that point, it's yeah, like that's fine, and I don't mind. And like some people worry sometimes, and they'll be like, "Oh, hey, you messed up here. Would it be too much of a trouble?" It's like absolutely no trouble. I totally missed that. You know, like let's fix it real quick. But
Yeah.
then I have had like over the years, maybe like one or two, where they weren't happy with the markings and stuff like that. And it's like, dude, I'm not gonna spend like 6 7 hours on you know
Mm-hmm.
making sure that these swirls are going the exact same way or something.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's sort
And
of the
this is just an example. I'm not like talking to anyone that has
No,
swirls. Just
yeah.
saying.
I just wanted to like also highlight and show for other artists out there like there is a sort of like push and pull that you have to give and you can have nightmare stories and I feel like you just have to either sort of tuck and roll and like still push on or sometimes even like respectfully but firmly say I cannot do this. And
Yeah,
I think
sometimes
that that
it
is
feels
okay.
too much. Yeah.
So moving forward though, what would you say are some of your own personal like art inspirations or furry artist inspirations? Would you say that like you get a lot of your motive or drive from like other artists that you see outside the community or just in the community itself?
Mostly in the community, but every now and then, though I wouldn't be able to like specifically point them out because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of non-furry artists that I would be able to be like, oh, this is extremely inspiring. They're not like English speaking, so they'll have like Japanese or like
There's
Chinese
a
like
lot
names
of
or whatever.
really talented
Yeah.
foreign artists out there.
So like I'll see a lot of like Final Fantasy 14 art or whatever, because first of all, I
Ooh.
play a lot of Final Fantasy 14. I love Final Fantasy 14.
I saw on
So
your
like
FA
I'll
page that's your favorite game.
yeah. So I'll see like Japanese artists that do really cool Final Fantasy 14 stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's extremely inspiring. But aside from that, it tends to be more things like artists from within the community that I'm like, oh, this is hella cool, or like I can't believe they're so good at colors and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that.
I always see that too, and I'm like, I want to steal that, or quote unquote steal. But you do the artistic thing of stealing, and you inspired by it, and you're referencing it.
Yeah, for sure.
I
I've
noticed.
I've had, I've had feelings like that, and then it's like sometimes I'll study like a piece of art, and I'm like, oh, cool, I nailed it. But at the same time, I take like 6 to 7 hours doing it, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to do this
Yeah,
on a regular basis. But it's hella cool.
and
Um,
no, what's
yeah.
up?
And some other times I'll be like, I'm just like creatively not there to the point where I can like click how it is that they're deciding to what colors to use,
Yeah,
and then,
they have their own library and their own pattern of doing things that like makes their art unique, and that's what's special to all of us because we all have different backgrounds, and that's where we
yeah,
like sort of tackle and approach. And I think that's sort of where like people get sort of caught up about getting a particular style. And I feel like it's a good argument to say like if you like that Final Fantasy 14 character in this particular artist style, like go for that, but don't let yourself feel like I think like like hindered by not achieving that style just yet. Like whatever you try to do, you'll get good at, and your style will sort of naturally come out of that.
yep.
And I would
And
say like you have sort of this kimono, and I could kind of see like Asian inspired style. That's just from my own 2 cents.
that's not the first time I've heard that.
Like the way
And
that you
it's
do eyes
actually
and
cool.
figures, it always looks very sharp, and I really do like that, and it's always very cute too.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, is that well? I should also ask the artist himself. Is that something that you try to pursue, or that's the kind of art that you like, or that sort of kimono or Japanese style, or I don't know
I
even
do
how
like
you would
that. I
describe it.
do like that sort of art. I've tried to recreate for practicing purposes, like actual like kimono artists and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But no matter what I do, who I'm trying to study slash copy slash learn from,
Yeah.
my hands will always gravitate to a style, and I think that's something that like people just need to understand about the betterment of their own art is that the more they do the things that they like or whatever, they don't have to. You don't have to worry so much about like like you're gonna end up being a carbon copy of whoever. It's like
Yeah.
if you see so many things or whatever, your mind will start to mold things differently, regardless of whether you want it or not. So like I've tried like several drawing styles, but they always have the same feel as far as like the character composition goes.
Mm-hmm. Because
So like yeah, because it just tends to go back.
yeah. And you're still the one person trying to sort of add to your style or change these little things anyway, but it still has your sort of footprint in the art.
Yeah.
For sure. And would you say like I think there's sometimes a little bit of controversy or drama around this, but like if you see like somebody comment, "Oh, this looks like blah 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 person's art, you're copying them." I don't think unless you're tracing, I think you're safe. Like the biggest art crime you can do, I think, is carbon copy trace somebody's work.
I agree. Like if you're like if somebody came to me and was like, "Oh, hey, I kind of draw like you,"
Yeah.
or maybe not quite like that, but if somebody came to me and told me, "Hey, this person kind of draws like you," I'd be like, "Oh, that's hella cool." Like, all the power to them. I'm not and maybe there's a reason to be upset for it, but I just personally don't see it.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it's like, oh, okay, you draw similarly. I mean, what's the critique beyond that? I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know what to do with that.
Yeah, it's like how do you go I don't know how to get mad to that. It's
Yeah.
like you just go like, hey, that's cool. And it's like if you find out that they've literally been studying your art for a while, it's like, oh, blush, you know?
Yeah, and then it's like, hey, can you like get some of your fans and check out my work? And it's like, oh, maybe they'll like my stuff too.
Yeah, yeah.
And then yeah, that's sort of the all ships rise with the tide kind of thing, where I think all artists shouldn't like shun any other artist, and we should all like support and like promote each other's work and like recommend like, hey, if you like this type of work, go check out XYZ artist or whatever. Like that's how we all get better.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, to sort of take a little breather from the art talk now, like getting to like more of your personal side and furry side. How would you say, like, I feel like a lot of people have this sort of contrast with how they balance their furry life and personal life. Do you find any distinctions between the two?
Balance.
Like
Um,
so okay, for example, like for myself or for even some close friends, like when they got into the community, they kind of had this feeling it was a weird thing and they didn't want their parents or their family to know about it whatsoever. Like how do you treat that?
um, I'm kind of way past the point of no return on like caring what my family thinks about certain things.
Mhm.
So it's not something that's really on my radar. At this point, it's like I like what I like and I do what I do and I'm doing it.
Yeah, no, I respect that totally because I think maybe people find or get into that sort of hiccup because a lot of the time it's like, okay, I'm just branching out after high school or something, but I'm still living with family and I don't really know how to like follow through with this or this thing that I like. And I feel like, yeah, you just got to kind of go in and accept that this is what you like and like if it's not hurting anybody, like more power to you. I don't think that people should feel shunned in any way if they're only having fun
I agree. That doesn't mean that people aren't going to go out of their way to like shun or embarrass you.
or
So
judge
like
you or something, right?
I understand to those. I understand if people want to keep it closer to themselves, and
Mm-hmm.
it's fine. It's like it's valid either way. But the main takeaway is like, despite how private you decide to be or not to be, just be happy about it yourself.
Yeah,
You know.
and see yourself. I was talking about this with some other furries too, and the really nice thing, and this sounds kind of cheesy, but it's like you cultivate your personal growth, and then you grow more as a person who didn't know what they liked, and you're always changing. And I guess if you saw yourself as the same person you were 10 years ago, you would kind of cringe and be like, "Oh my gosh, no, my views and opinions are so much bigger now."
Oh my god, yeah.
Like
I'm like thinking about it. Now. I'm like, oh no.
it's like I'm into like 30 more kinks than ever. And but yeah, no, I mean genuinely for people out there, I feel like I always tout about this, but if you feel like you're into something and you're not hurting anybody, furry or not furry, just do it and share it with the world cuz you don't know what will come of it and it's always worth figuring out.
Yeah.
What is your sort of pie in the sky goal, Tofu? So for professionally, like when you're in the community, I know you mentioned that you're so excited to go to your first convention. Has like vending been on sort of your goal list or anything for yourself personally?
You said something about a pie in the sky?
Yeah, like I figure like that's a sort of way of saying like you have this like overarching goal for what you want to strive to, or do you just sort of take it day by day? How do you approach this?
Uh, um, I do a little bit of both, but not necessarily that much. So
Like,
I have these overarching goals, but it's more like on my personal um like real life stuff, right? Like, like right now we're trying to pay off a couple loans and stuff like that,
mm-hmm.
like how we want to be later on,
Yeah, like I guess like real life,
like buying houses and stuff. Like I plan things like that,
yeah.
everything else is just kind of up in the wind. I don't really have a particular goal when it comes to like the fandom.
Mm-hmm.
It's just things will happen if they happen, and like being an art vendor or whatever, it sounds super fun. I would totally love that,
Have
but I'm
you?
also a notoriously lazy person
Oh,
unless I have reason to not be. So as much as I would love it, I just haven't put any effort into like looking into like what it takes, or like I might just be too lazy to like sit down and just do commissions the whole time or
It's so
whatever.
mind blowing to say that like you're lazy, like because when we were scheduling even for this talk, like you're like, okay, I only have like these time slots available. Are you available like from 12 to etc. on the weekend or something? Because you're all busy working on art, right, throughout that whole time.
Yeah.
So, no, give yourself some credit for sure, Tofu.
Oh, that okay. That is what, for the record, that is why I said unless I have reason to be.
True, you did say that. So,
So if I am given like a fraction of, no, not a fraction, but if I am allowed to be lazy,
mhm.
like my brain shuts off and I'm just like dumb tofu, right? But like
I'm
if
big
things need
himbo
to get
brain.
done, yeah. But if things need to get done, then I'll switch into work mode, and then I'll be like,
Yeah.
okay, time to like set up and do actual things for real.
Do you, I always want to ask artists this, but when you're, you have all the drive and then you get into the work and you're pumping out work, do you ever reach that sort of period where it's like not necessarily burnout? I personally experience burnout quite a bit because I'm like a very introverted social kind of person, but I do feel like you just need to take a break every so often. And now this is myself asking a very personal question. Pursuing art and wanting to make it more of a full-time thing. For yourself, how do you know when to take those breathers or when to just like sort of not think about art so you can come back to it? Or what is that like for you?
Um, I don't think I do anything like, I don't go out of my way to find a way to manage it or whatever. I just You just switch gears. And I have
Mm,
friends that I play games with. So it's like I'm drawing. I'm tired. Okay, I'm gonna play some League with friends, and then like I'll message people, or like if people are playing League, then we'll get together, and then I
mm-hmm.
stop thinking about everything else.
Oh, it's just a
I've
very
never,
natural switch to you. It's not like you're not even worrying about it as soon as you turn on the games with friends.
yeah, I've never been much of a bring work home kind of guy, which is kind of
Yeah.
funny, considering that I'm working
You
from home.
working
But
from home. Yeah.
the spirit of the message lives on. Like even when I was like in normal jobs or whatever, whenever I clocked out or whatever, I was done working. Like I wasn't even thinking about it. And it's like I wanted to watch TV, I wanted to play games,
Yeah.
I wanted to hang out with people, and it's kind of been the same with art. Like whenever I'm done with commissions for the day, or if I just don't have a good drawing day, and I'm like, I can't do this, then I switch gears into playing games, or like, just
You
watching
don't, yeah,
TV.
you don't
And
sound like the type of person that's really gonna sort of kind of like, what is that kind of word or way to say it? Like you're not a grudge. You're not like what is it called when you're like lamenting something or like you're just sort of thinking about it too much?
a mentor. No, what? Sorry.
Shoot, I'm sort of getting my himbo brain's getting the best of me, but you're not thinking about it too much, and that's what I really have to learn for myself too, because I feel like when I'm not, you ever have one of those good art days, no, bad art days where it's like you draw but you just feel like nothing's coming out, and like I feel like my creative juices aren't there every day, so
No, it
sometimes,
happens. It
yeah.
happens very often. Yeah.
And no, yeah, I think like for those out there that have trouble with that, I usually try to just do like long walks, or maybe I'll just like sit outside and just like look at a very far distance thing, and I try to just relax about it, and then it'll sort of free up my mind to sort of not stress as much.
Yep. No, those are good habits. Those are good healthy habits. I
Hmm.
I I eat and like stay fat on the computer.
Oh, that's good too. I mean, that sounds fun. I like
But
eating.
no. But that's another reason why I give myself like 3 to 4 weeks to work in a commission, even though it'll technically take me only an hour, is
Hmm.
because during that whole period, I have like thirty commissions on my list,
Yeah.
right? At any point in time. But I'm not going to sit down like for 30 hours straight and do like all of them, right? Like I get
Yeah.
this burnout thing, this getting tired thing, it's real, it happens, right? So like
Yep.
I'll be maybe like Monday, Tuesday, I won't feel that creative. And then the moment I recognize that, it's like I have to switch into something else because
Yeah.
otherwise I'm just wasting time, right?
Yes. Yes. I
And
totally
and,
agree.
uh, and if you don't think about it, then that I don't know. It also kind of feels like after, like once you're, or at least at the point that I'm right now, whenever too many days happen that I haven't drawn or whatever, I like start scribbling, and that means for me that I'm ready to start like working and drawing and
Oh,
doing,
that's like
you
sort of
know,
your body or your inner conscience already trying to get out and draw.
yeah. Because sometimes I just want to, and it's like it'll be something simple, like I'll just like start doodling and things when I'm waiting for people for games or whatever, and then I can kind of be like, oh hey, I guess I'm in a good spot now.
I'm
Like
recharged
start
now. I can,
tomorrow,
yeah,
yeah. And I don't instantly use it right away either because it just means that I'm like starting to get there.
yeah.
But then normally what that means for me is like I'll be good to go the next day, and then normally I am.
Do you sort of take that drive and balance that out with do you have personal projects on the side, or are you all professional commission work?
I wouldn't call myself professional, but like
Oh, well,
I mean, I wouldn't call it professional working, but like, yeah, I mean, technically, maybe you're right. Um,
there's a bit of
I
professionalism,
wish,
but yeah, you do art for other people and you get paid for it. And
yeah,
do you have that separation where it's like, no, I wanna work on a little stupid animation, or I wanna do a little study here or there? Like, how do you feel about those things at times?
I wish that I made more time for myself.
Mm,
Honestly, I do whenever I have like feeling good for drawing. I
yeah,
use it all up on commissions, and like the only that no, the only breaks I get is when like the boyfriend is like, "Hey, you've been doing a lot of commissions. You should do something for yourself today," kind of a thing.
yeah.
And then, but aside from that, it's like I don't think about myself as much as I know that I should.
Oh,
So I am aware of this problem, kind of problem.
it can be
And
perceived, but yeah, I
well,
I
I
feel
think I think I think it's healthier. Like no matter who you are, if you're gonna be doing this for a living or whatever, you have to make some time for yourself. Like not just to rest or whatever, but to draw for yourself.
yeah, no,
Like
yes,
I
that's
think
I
that's
have like
important.
an ADHD brain, and I feel like when I've been doing the same thing too much in a certain groove, my brain's like, okay, go animate a stupid GIF or something, and like you've seen me post that too on Twitter,
Yeah,
of just like a big ass or whatever, and
I love that one.
oh, thank you, but that's the sort of like stupidness that I just have to get like these shower thoughts that accumulate in my head, and then I'm like, okay, now I can go like screw off or something, and then I'll just do like I don't know, like a massive painting or something, then I'm like, okay, I got that out of my system. And then I transition gears and then I go back to like the sort of, yeah, base commissions that I was doing before.
Yep.
And it's so
No.
bad though, too, because I get this complex where it's like you have this kind of steady curve and you're going up linearly. And as you keep going, you're like, okay, I have to take a dive bomb right now. And that is so harsh. And then it's like, okay, maybe I can build myself back up. And it's a real thing that happens. And
Yeah.
as I get older throughout the community and doing art as a person, I have to, like you said, just make time for yourself to know your own patterns and your own cycles.
Yeah. And just to draw things you like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that drawing things you like is gonna make you happy. And then if you're happy, then you're just gonna be like
That's
healthier in general.
that's the thing I tweeted about one time too. I was like, "Oh yeah, the client wants me to draw, or if I want to draw like a wolf or something, wolfman or something, some hot piece or whatever in the forest." I'm like, "No problem. Brain got the pose, got the placement down, got the cool perspective, and then it's now like, okay, now make it a human." I'm like,
Oh god.
uh. So it's all about picking and choosing like what you like drawing at heart. And that's kind of the cool thing about just furries who draw, because I find a lot of like outside artists, they're like, holy shit, like furries have the best anatomy, the best poses, and they're so creative and stuff. So they'll often gravitate to drawing more anthro stuff, which I'm a fan of.
Mhm.
But yeah, when you find that thing you like drawing, it doesn't mean that you're bad at art in other areas. It just means you care the most about this one thing.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Honestly, and this is funny because like I've had friends who've been like, "Oh, how did you get so good at like anatomy and stuff like that. And it's like I said before, I've never actually like studied for it or anything
That
like
still
that.
blows my mind, but
I
yeah.
don't like, I don't. But honestly, like, and I'm assuming I can say this because it's like you have a not safe for work account, right? Like,
Yeah. Oh, by the way, this podcast is NSFW 18 plus. You could say whatever you want.
okay, just make it. I'm like, wait a second, can I say these things? Okay, okay. So, porn.
Yeah, porn. That's a thing that
That's
we
it.
do.
It's like, yeah, it's like it. That's my answer. Like, how did you get so good? I drew porn.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's how I got like when I was first drawing, like just safe for work stuff. I like it was okay, but my skill spiked the moment I started getting into not safe for work commissions, because that's when you start caring about like certain body placements and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's like,
It's super important.
yeah, even though I didn't quite study it, like my mind was like, oh, that's not where that's gonna, that's not where that's
Hmm.
supposed to go, kind of a thing. And that's how I got just progressively better.
Yeah, it's like how do I line up this pole with this hole better? And like how do I how do I
Oh
make this?
God, I'm sorry. I started eating a chip. Have you heard that? I probably should hold off with it until we're done.
No,
All
it's
right.
okay. You can eat in the mic if you want. I'm sure people love that.
Um,
Well, okay, fine. I'm gonna take a sip for my coffee then too. That's nice. Do you drink coffee, Tofu?
I drink coffee if there is sugar and creamer involved, and like
Oh,
lots of it.
you don't like it
I
dark?
can't I can't do dark coffee on its
It's
own.
too
No.
bitter, honestly.
Yeah,
Like I
I
need a
like
little bit of
sweet.
flavor. Yeah, and sweet. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do like Starbucks every once in a while, but for the most part, I make my own coffee. Or my boyfriend makes his coffee too with like a what is that called? Like a pour over and stuff. It's really lovely.
Oh God, one of those fancy things.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's crazy. I I'm pretty basic when it comes to like how I like coffee, vanilla creamer, sugar, and then like with
do
tons of it, tons of both, and I'm happy.
do you have sort of a ritual for how you prepare? Like you wake up in the morning and sort of like even today for me, like the first thing I have to do is grab a cup of coffee and maybe a small breakfast. I can't have too big of a breakfast because I'll get nauseous.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I don't really have a coffee ritual. I've never been like much of a coffee drinker in general. It's just like every once in the blue moon we'll be like, oh, let's clean out dust out the coffee machine and make some coffee,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll make that, and that's it. But it's like every
Can
couple months.
can you just jump straight into commissions like as soon as you wake up? Or
I used to not be able to. I like these last couple weeks. I've been more getting into a groove, working on it.
mm-hmm.
Mostly because I kind of had to like step up my game a little bit because the boyfriend was out of work for a little while. He just started like
Oh,
a couple
okay.
weeks ago. He hurt his ankle,
Oh,
so like
okay. Not COVID
he was out of
related.
work for a couple months. No, no, no. Though
Okay.
we did get COVID at one point, but that's beside the point.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to get into that later, but I hope your significant other is doing better.
Yeah, he's all fine. He's good. But
That's
yeah,
good.
during that time period, I had to work a little bit more, and that's why I have
Mm-hmm.
a bigger list right now.
Oh, I see.
Normally I wouldn't have a list this big, but I keep working, so it cycles itself out, so I don't feel bad about it. You
That's
know?
fair. Yeah, I mean, you're also working to help support your loved one, and I think that's super righteous. And yeah.
Yeah, but like so, like right now things are are getting good, but because of that, I started working more often in the mornings. So as of right now, now that he's got his schedule sorted out, we get up, we have a quick breakfast, he goes, and then I jump into my computer and I start working right away.
Oh, okay. First thing
And
in the morning.
it's been pretty good, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, until
what's up?
until like literally a couple days ago, because we started playing V Rising.
Ooh, what is that?
Uh, it's a survival game. Have you ever heard of Valheim?
Oh, yeah, I played that with my boyfriend. He loves that game, and I remember beating this like deer god or something after building a
Yeah,
house. Yeah.
it's literally Valheim, but you're vampires.
Hmm.
And,
Is it
and
by the
like,
same makers or?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay,
But
but
it's got a more because in Valheim you just go and swing your sword, right? And you
yeah.
have a couple magic weapons. But in V Rising you have like bosses will drop different spells or whatever. so you can have kind of like more of a League of Legends like battle system.
Oh,
With weapon
interesting.
skills and spells or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways,
No, that's
lately
cool.
I get up and the first thing is I like mine and do some stuff in the game, and then I jump into work.
It kind of, yeah, no, I
Still
think
very
video
responsible.
games are a good way of sort of warming up the brain too, because you can start to think about something more quickly and you warm up your little phalanges and stuff.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, okay. That's what it's for, right? The video
That's
games
this is
are useful.
exactly. Yeah, I'm using. Yeah, video games are good for you guys.
Yes, yep. Tofu said it first. You guys can take that to heart, and then you can say that Tofu told you so.
God.
But yeah, that's how I sort of treat my mornings too. I feel like some artists, they go super hard and like they're totally nocturnal. So they'll work till like 4 in the morning or something, and then they'll sleep throughout the whole day. I'm personally an early bird. I love the sunshine.
I am more of a night owl when it comes to like
Mm-hmm.
anything in general.
Just that sort of online life.
Yeah. The only reason I haven't recently is because just
What?
just to get into more of our not necessarily financial troubles, but just things that have been happening in the last couple weeks. So
Okay.
one of our bedrooms, our main bedroom, one of the water pipes burst, so it
Oh
got
no.
flooded, and then that's just been damaged, and we
Oh
haven't had
shit.
access to that bedroom for like months,
Uh-huh.
and it'll probably still be a little while before the HOA like jumps in.
Oh,
But
yeah.
because of that, we had to move the bed to the computer room. So whenever the boyfriend goes to bed for work,
Oh, I see.
I'm done, right? And I go to the
Yeah.
computer and I go watch TV in the living room, which is fine. I like my late night couch chilling times.
Yeah.
But it's because of that I haven't actually been much of a night worker as I
Yeah,
used to
he's
be, because
putting
before then,
he's giving you a bedtime.
yeah, basically, because before then he would go to bed and I would be on the computer till like 4, a.m. or something like
Yeah.
that. But yeah. But this whole new working in the morning thing, it's been working pretty nice.
Oh, that's
I
great
like
to
it.
hear. Yeah,
Yeah.
and again, like it's maybe a little shift in gears, and then you can try to do another schedule later on or something, and then kind of refresh yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I appreciate. Holy shit, we're like going for over an hour already.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know
No,
what I'm talking.
no, I always try to aim for at least 20 minutes, but this has been great so far.
I was gonna say, wait, we're way past that mark.
No, oh my god, that's what I love so much about podcasts. Like, okay, I'm a avid podcast listener, so I just love talking to people, and that's sort of like I don't care about the time or anything, but every so often I
Ah.
check it. Yeah. But where do you see yourself, like, sort of? I mean, I guess I asked you that already about like sort of the big goals or anything, but like for yourself now, what would you say you're most focused on going forward?
Uh, let's see. My current biggest focus, catching up on my commission list.
Okay.
Aside from that, MFF.
I know. When is this year's MFF, by the way?
In December sometime. I don't know much more than that yet.
And you said you're based on the West Coast, right?
Yeah, Seattle. Well,
So,
we're Seattle area, I should say.
oh, okay. I think that's like what, like probably a 5 hour flight then for you, or 4 hour flight to what was it? Is MFF in Boston? I believe
I don't
somewhere
know.
over there. Yeah, it's more on the East Coast.
I
But
had to think about it. I'm like, I don't know this.
I know, and that was my last con I went to, and I totally forgot. But no, I have BLFC coming up too. I'm literally flying out next week, Tuesday. So
Oh,
I am super hyped for that.
wait, where's BLFC?
BLFC is biggest little fur con, so that's taking
No. I
place
meant like
in.
literally where.
No, yeah. It's getting.
Oh, okay.
It's in Reno, so it's at the GSR, the Grand Sierra Resort, and it's just
Oh,
it's in Nevada.
that's literally because I don't know much about cons, right? The only ones I know of are BLFC, and I kind of had an idea on MFF, but I never actually knew like for
Well,
sure. I knew there was a second big one, but those are the only two I know exist. But I know there's way more.
yeah, a little pro tip here for MFF, just because I went and I learned this the hard way. If you can get a hotel room in the main convention hall, get it. You will love being there
That's
because
what I want, but I'm told that it's very hard to get it. So
yeah,
I if there's people listening to this, I very strongly urge them to wait for me and then
Tofu
place
needs
order.
a spot. Or yeah, if you don't have one already. But was it my boyfriend and I? We booked one. I think it was called like the Rosemont or something. And we were about like 2 blocks away from the main hall. But the interesting thing about MFF for people who don't know out there is that the convention halls are all sort of broken up around like the outside and inside portions of hotels. So you have to walk to like each major location, like in 2 or 3 different locations. So you're going to be going inside the halls and outside the halls, and it's going to be hot, cold, or it might be raining outside and you have to walk through that. It's a whole crazy deal, but it was still overall a really good time.
I am looking forward to that.
Yeah. Do you? Oh, and I guess that as another quick aside, do you have for a fursuit or anything, or what's your take on fursuits?
I don't have one. I really want one, but I don't know. I don't like. First of all, like I can't afford one right now.
It's expensive. I
But
mean, you're
maybe
paying for
maybe I
like
can
a
save up
car.
for it. But yeah, holy crap.
My
Uh,
first car was less expensive than my fursuit.
oh god. Yeah. At the same time, though, I want to make my own fursuit.
Oh, okay.
I have
That's another
no
route.
idea how to
Yeah.
make it, but the idea of making my own just kind of sounds fun. So who knows? Between here and December, maybe I'll like at least have a head and like some paws or whatever, and go with a partial instead.
Yeah, I think that's how I and correct me if I'm wrong, but do you know the other artist called Bento or Suck Mick Suck Big Jones or something like that?
I
He's a
can't
big
say that.
he's a big purple I think he does like macro peen art or something.
Oh
Bento.
God.
He's like a big bear raccoon type of character. But anyway, they made their first fursuit too, I believe, and it came out wonderfully, and then they trot around in it at the cons.
That sounds like fun.
I
I
know.
really want one. I really want one. I'll live if I don't get to sport one at the event, but I think it would be really fun.
Oh, that'd be awesome. And I'd love to see it. I'm sure you'd post about it as soon as you make it or start making it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'll post like progress pictures.
Yay.
There's no way I won't be. I'll be too excited.
Well, I look forward to that. And do you have anything, any last plugs or anything at the end of the show here, Tofu?
Um.
Where can people check you out?
Oh, I have Twitter. I have an FA that I haven't updated in a while.
I've noticed it's been like I think a year since I seen your last post.
It's
You were doing like I think bust shots of people in hoodies. Those are really cute.
yeah. I think I was doing them for Patreon rewards at
Oh yeah,
that
you can
point.
plug your Patreon too.
I have a patron. That's it's just patron. Hold on, I need to check what it is.
Okay. Well,
I want
Tofu's
to say it's
queuing that
just
up.
patron slash tofu. Yeah, it's just patron slash tofu.
And that's not
Um,
TOFU, it's the TOHFU, right?
that's correct. Yes, that is
Yes.
accurate.
There's another furry artist that I believe goes by Tofu.
Yeah. I do know them. I know of them. I should say. It's not like I personally know them,
I
but
think he has
you know
like a
what I mean.
little sprout chibi character and he draws like big buff dudes too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that
I love
guy.
his art. I love his art. I love his art.
Same. But yeah, go check out Tofu on his Twitter or his Patreon, all at under Tofu.
Uh, uh I'm gonna check real quick.
Okay, he's gonna check real quick, folks.
So my FA is tofu. My Twitter is actually snow underscore coon.
Oh, Snowcoon, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
SNOW underscore KUN.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
That's SNOW underscore KUN for the folks at
That's right.
home.
Yeah.
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 Right on. Right on. So yeah, I mean, thanks for watching, guys. I have been blessed this morning by my lovely guest Tofu, and it was really nice to, after so long, actually, Tofu, you've been, I think, like my first guest in over 2 years of who I spoke to. That's another furry artist.
Oh wow.
And I really appreciate that. So it was really nice to connect with you, and I would love to talk to you again sometime about art or whatever shenanigans that you're up to.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure. Just hit me up.
Oh, wonderful. And I know you got a big quota, but I think, yeah, I'll let you get back to it whenever you're ready. So thank you guys for watching. This has been TreeBark. I've been your host, Theo, and we were joined today by Tohfu. You guys have a wonderful
Bye.
day. Bye-bye. Bye. Yay. Thank you,
Hey.
Tohfu. Hello folks, you made it to the end of the video and I wanted to congratulate you with this ad. If you want to check out more things that I do and keep up with my creative projects, you can follow my Twitter at Shikokubo, that's SHIKOKUBO. Fair warning, it is pretty Wild West up there, so whatever you see is what you get, and I am not taking responsibility. But if you want to check out my Patreon, that's also at Shikokubo, that's SHIKOKUBO, and I generally treat it as a tip jar, so if you'd like to just throw some fun bucks my way, it goes a very long way for me, my projects, and the show. So I'll just still make this stuff, but a little goes a long way, and I really appreciate it. So I hope you guys have a great day, and take care. Bye-bye.